Good morning. The young master has asked me to extend an invitation to join him for breakfast. He proposes that you get ready right away so that I can accompany you there. All set? Okay. I'll lead the way.
Oh, there you are. Good day, detective. In any case, did you enjoy your accommodations? Why don't you take a break, Paul, and savor some espresso while you're at it? Rumor has it that the new barista is quite attractive.
The only thing that matters to me is your safety, Master Luka. But if you insist, I shall be waiting for both of you in order for us to check out and then head on to our destination.
All in due time. Now go. We'll come to meet you after we're done here, so stay on the perimeter.
Of course, Master. Detective.
He always seems so anxious, as if something terrible is about to happen to me. He should definitely learn how to settle down a bit. Even though I have a really handsome figure, that doesn't mean that I'm incapable of protecting myself, if it becomes essential to do so. Enjoy your meal now. All things considered, the journey is going to be lengthy, and I'm concerned that the jet won't be able to accommodate a lot of substantial snacks. We'll take you to meet a colleague and close friend of mine. As I filled him in on the situation, he requested that we come to his estate to have a conversation with him in person. And if he deems it worthwhile, he'll ask you a few questions and provide you with advice regarding your position. Because the man has a propensity to be quite analytical at all times, it is impossible to know what thoughts are going through his head. Yet, do not misunderstand. I have complete faith in him. And who knows, maybe you'll run into another one of our colleagues, They can be quite, unique. Well, I'm pleased to hear that you're satisfied with everything. I'm certain the chef will be ecstatic to receive your praise. I'll be sure to leave a big tip for the staff working here today if you're so pleased with their services. I don't want to keep Andrea waiting any longer than necessary, so even if this time is great, we have to get going. I want to say again how sorry I am that I was rude when I first encountered you. Although I don't generally support violence, this strategy seemed to work best for both of us in the end. Now, come on, it's time to get moving. We have to get Paul and then drive to the airport.
Mr. Garnier, are you departing already? As one would expect from a man of your caliber. A busy gentleman.
I'm afraid so, old friend. There is still some filming for a new movie that needs to be done here, so I will be returning shortly.
Very charming. We are eagerly anticipating your arrival. Have a safe flight, please.
Ah, and Thomas?
Yes, Mr. Garnier?
Take a couple days off. You put in a ton of hours at work, so take some time to relax.
I'm grateful. Our hotel will make every effort to accommodate you and your work associates during your stay here.
Please, young master.
Thank you, Paul.
Detective, please. We'll arrive at the airport in approximately 17 minutes. Would the masters like me to switch on the air conditioning?
It's quite hot today, so yes, Paul. We'll be there before you know it, so feel free to take a nap in the meantime, Detective. I had to add a small amount of sedative to your drink before we departed, as our destination is confidential. I assure you, though, that you will have pleasant dreams.
Enjoy your rest, Detective. Good evening, Detective. We've arrived. The young master is awaiting your arrival at the mansion's entrance. You're free to go. I'll be waiting outside.
A guest? Ah, is this the one you were describing to me, young Luka?
That's the one. How was your nap during the siesta? The effectiveness and dependability of Suzuki's devices shouldn't come as a surprise, since they're always high quality. Pardon me. This gentleman is the butler at Andrea's estate.
Charmed. My name is Charles Olivier-Blanc, and as the young man Luka so aptly remarked, I am the humble butler of this property. As such, I cater to all of Master Cannova's whims and desires, regardless of what they may be.
Charles hailed from a prominent line of butlers, of noble blood, no less, which is something that is extremely uncommon to come across. There are rumors that suggest that his grandfather, as well as his father, used to be the King of France's right-hand man at one point in time.
You have an unrealistically high opinion of me. The work I perform is rather simple.
I have tried so many times to convince him to come work for me at one of my properties in Monaco, but he always politely declines, no matter how much compensation I offer.
I cannot forsake the Cannova family, regardless of what is offered, young Luka. I promised the old family patriarch, when the young masters were still youngsters, that I would take good care of them, and I want to honor this pledge till the end of my days.
One day, Charles, I'll make you a deal proposal that you won't be able to turn down, not even if you try.
I shall eagerly anticipate it. Permit me to guide you to the mansion. It's a huge property, and I'm worried you'll get lost. So, remain close to me. Pardon me, Master Andrea, but I am accompanied by your guests.
Please, come in.
Andrea, it's been a while, hasn't it? You look good.
Se non è mio fratello Luca, come stai? It appears as though you'll be nominated for yet another award this year. I hope that the glamorous life you lead is not taking too much of a toll on you. Such brilliance is embedded in one so young.
And this is due to your clinical eye. Your ability to coax the best out of others is astounding. It's almost as if you can see the future.
Oh, you wish, old friend. If I had the ability to see into the future, perhaps my brother, who is always so stubborn, and I would get along a little bit better with one another. You must be the infamous detective. I've heard nothing but great things about you, and it's clear your reputation precedes you. My name is Andrea Giuliano Cannova. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
If you'll excuse me, I'll make you gentlemen feel more at ease. I will arrange Chef Fabry and our sommelier, Alphonse, for some delicacies and a spectacular wine selection. Please, settle in comfortably.
let's get down to business, shall we? To begin, I want to commend you, Luka, on the fantastic job you did in locating the piece that was missing from this puzzle. I have faith that with the assistance of the knowledgeable detective, we will be able to circumvent this small miscalculation and ultimately prevail.
Is Dante still undercover?
Indeed. But I can't help but think that he volunteered to be freed from the tedious and bureaucratic responsibilities, as he refers to them in his own words. He's always been a doer, not afraid to get his hands dirty. In this aspect, we are very dissimilar. Yet, as his older brother, it is my responsibility to teach him manners as time goes on. He still has some work to do in this regard.
Excuse my intrusion, but I must inquire as to the rationale behind hiring the detective. Getting rid of a group of inept people known as the Inquisitors doesn't strike me as the kind of motivation that might be behind it.
No, of course not. We need our detective friends' help in order to make deep structural changes to the system, which is why we've reached out to them. In order to be able to sketch the detective's whole outline, a lot of work was done, including a lot of study, a lot of observation, and a lot of movement on the part of numerous different components. As I explained to you, Luka, they are a person with unrivaled perseverance who has never stopped doing what was required, regardless of how difficult it was.
That being said, you went even further than what you had previously told me about. Because of this, Andrea, I want to make sure I'm always on your good side. You have the potential to be quite terrifying.
The moment I make my entrance into the game, my number one priority is to eliminate every single one of my opponent's pieces. Allow me to continue on. The plans and the requisitions of their perpetrators are continually funded by a clandestine government. As I already told you, in my opinion, it is a pathetic attempt to bolster its military might. This current regime just so happens to be from the nation where the detective originally hails. In other words, their land is currently mired in a sea of blood and corruption. And our associate over here was removed in order to prevent them from doing an in-depth investigation into the matter. Perhaps you've never pondered why they transferred you to Dubai, or why the rate of horrific crimes continued to rise, regardless of how hard you worked. Therefore, since we are both here to help clean up this mess, it stands to reason that we will equally gain from its conclusion, right?
But if the current government is in fact that corrupt, why hasn't anyone stepped in to address this problem yet? Such as the UN, Interpol? Such vast volumes of information like this couldn't possibly be kept under wraps, in my opinion.
No, Luka, you have it all wrong. This nation serves as a tax haven for a great many influential figures. I believe that these same people saw this alternative as a method to expand their riches, even if it resulted in the victimization of a great number of its citizens, who had done nothing wrong. After all, money is what drives our world these days. Even though they are a new conglomerate, I have to admit they move their pieces in a very organized way. They control the media, censor the people, and may even brainwash them. To conceal the state of their nation from the rest of the world, they must have hired capable individuals to train and lead their forces, as well as incredibly skilled hackers or even decoys to act as public figures in order to deceive their population.
Gosh, it's worse than I initially anticipated. What shall we do regarding this? Oh well, maybe another time. Andrea, detective, regrettably, I must interrupt the remainder of our talk to run some urgent errands. Please keep me informed if anything occurs.
Could it possibly be that meeting with the Russian Executive Council?
You are so observant that nothing escapes your notice. Thus, I believe you're aware of the significance of this conference.
Yes. Please extend my greetings to Vitaly.
I'll handle it, and I'll see you both soon.
No. You must perform a small ritual before I can allow you to join our family. Nothing outside the bounds of tradition, of course. I understand that in your mind we are a criminal organization, yet we are primarily an institution that arranges gatherings, negotiates boundaries, and achieves concessions in the event of conflict or territorial disputes. Don't you see? We reduce the number of casualties in communities by bringing people together and providing the best of almost everything, allowing them to enjoy the company of their loved ones and friends while being utterly unconcerned about anything else. If anyone tries to disrupt that peace, they will face the most dire consequences. Eventually, you will recognize the significance of our influence and intervention. These tattoos illustrate the magnitude of the weight we bear on our own flesh. In the normal course of events, it would take you a number of years before one of our people attempted to find you and recruit you. It's a long process, but I put in additional effort for you because I believe that, in the long run, you could prove to be a very helpful resource for us. Stop giving me that look. We're going to be of assistance to one another. Nothing bad will ever happen to you or your people. We will make sure of it. Anyway, let's begin the ritual. This is our most significant symbol, and the greatest manifestation of your loyalty. Make a small cut in your finger with the blade, and then let the blood drip over the representation of the saint. It is a promise that your body will burn, just like the statue, if you ever betray us, and with it, all of those who keep any kind of memory of you, no matter how small and inconsequential it may be, will be killed without any mercy. This will be the case even if the memory is of anything as trivial as a grain of sand. Do you comprehend what I'm saying? This is not a joke. Incredible tenacity, without even flinching at what I just stated. Now, repeat after me. I swear to deny everything until the end of the 7th generation. The entire criminal society in me to this day is acknowledged to protect the honor of my wise brothers. You're now one of us. Your former name, gone. Your occupation, irrelevant. Your prior existence, forgotten. I baptize you with the name Diamante, or in your language, Diamond, a reference to the esteem in which you are held among us.